guys, in this video I'm just going to show you how to get started for your single family home project when you're ready to start putting your designs into ArchiCAD. So on our Google Classroom page, under the single family home topic, we are going to download this template, okay? You guys, if you just hit download here, it automatically goes to your downloads folder. Mine is going to ask me where I want to save, so I'll put it in the downloads so you guys can see that as well. Okay, so once that's downloaded, like I said, yours will automatically go to the downloads folder. I'm going to open ArchiCAD. So ArchiCAD, we're going to let it load here, and we're going to make sure that we choose that template that we just downloaded. Okay, so just like I open ArchiCAD anytime for the first time, I'm going to hit New. Click on the gray box, make it go a little quicker. Right here where it says Template. Mine's already set to the right one, but you guys are going to go to Browse Template. Okay, and then it's going to ask you what template do you want to use. So the one I just downloaded is in my Downloads folder. You guys might have to hit home and then downloads to get here. So this is the template that I just downloaded to my downloads folder. So I'm going to select that one and then I'm going to hit new. All right. Okay. And this automatically went to the workbook view. Remember, we have kind of different views we can toggle between. So the workbook view is here. If I go to the drawing view, which is the house over here on the right, and click on first floor. So what's different about this one versus the other ArchiCAD projects we've used, you guys, is you are given a plot of land. Now, in this, it's hard to tell what scale we're looking at here, but this is actually a really large lot. So just be aware of that. If we look at it in 3D, here's the plot of land. So you can kind of see it's uneven, which is okay. In real life, we would excavate the area that we would want to build our house on so that it would be flat. We're going to kind of work with what we're given, but we are going to be allowed to manipulate this topography a little bit. So you guys can see there's kind of like the top half is more uphill, and then the bottom half is downhill. So realistically, when we build a house, we never want to build it downhill from something. The water runoff can really impact your foundation in a negative way. So we would like to either build in the middle or above is kind of where you want to put your house. But otherwise that is up to you. You can see on the top left, the access to lot from here, that's like where the street would be. So if you want to add in any sort of driveway or entryway or face your house a certain direction to make that make more sense or just look more aesthetically pleasing, that's up to you. Okay, so we are going to start by drawing a slab, okay? Actually, before I do this, I'm just going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to call this something under my new name. You guys can save this wherever you want. I'm just going to put mine on my desktop. So maybe last name and then single family home. Okay, save. Okay, so now anytime I draw anything, I can just hit File, Save, and it'll update with whatever else I've drawn. Okay, so we're going to start by drawing a slab. Now, please think about your dimensions before you just start drawing, because otherwise I feel like it's going to get away from you quickly. So I'm just going to draw, but then I'll show you a tool to kind of help you work with your square footage. Okay, so I'm going to draw a slab. Remember our typical slab settings. I do want the thickness of the slab to be a foot. Okay. And remember, you can change your materials in here. If you unlock these, you can make them whatever you want them to be. Right now, the top of mine's concrete. It's concrete all the way around, but I might want to make the top wood flooring or carpet or something else. So you can play with that, whatever you want it to be, but we do want it to be a foot thick. Okay. So we are going to draw a slab. Again, this first geometry method lets you draw any sort of shape. So let's say I wanted to draw some sort of L. You can see my dimensions right there. This is huge. Right now that's 49 feet, okay? I'm gonna draw mine big just so it's easy for you guys to see, but keep in mind this lot is really big. Likely my house is probably not gonna be this large because I have to stay under the 2,500 square foot requirement. Sorry, I'm gonna start over here. I'm going to kind of make a L. And again, I'm making mine really huge, you guys. So keep that in mind. You are going to stay within the 2,500 square foot requirement. Okay, so mine's kind of a funky shape. I just wanted to show you that in case you also are not just doing like a square or a rectangle. Okay, so if we look at the 3D view, we can see that the mesh, obviously because it's not flat, like is poking through my slab, or there's times where my slab's like too high above it. We want to make the mesh, sorry, I'm calling it mesh because the mesh tool, if I hover over this guy on the left, maybe it'll show. It doesn't want to show. This is called, there we go. There's the mesh tool. That's what this is called to create that land. So we're going to cut a hole in the mesh. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to do it just like we do cutting a hole in the slab. We're first going to select the mesh, okay? And then I'm going to grab the mesh tool, and then I'm going to create a hole. So I'm going to just trace over my slab, and I got to zoom in, make sure I get it to line up exactly. All right. Once we have closed, this option will come up. We want to choose create hole and hit OK. So now there's this space. So again, if I go back to the 3D, now there's space all the way around, but still there's parts where my slab is too high above the land. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work with this in the 3D view. Okay. And basically what I'm going to do, if I select the land, you can see all those little black nodes. So what I want to do is I want to bring the nodes either up or down to meet the exact edge of my slab. So here's how we're going to do that. Again, I'm going to kind of zoom in so I can see one a little more easily. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of those nodes, okay? So this little dialog box pops up. We want to choose the option that says Z. Z is the vertical change, and that's the only thing that we want to adjust. We don't want it to move left, right, we just want to move it up or down. So this part is a little tedious, you guys, but we are just going to work our way around to each of those nodes, bringing them up to the slab. And you can use your orbit tool to kind of orbit around and make it a little bit easier. Okay, but we're just going to work all the way around. So you can manipulate this. So you can see I'm a little too high on this side. I can bring it down. So that Z option lets me move it up or down, but it doesn't change anything else. So you're going to orbit around and change the mesh to meet your slab. Now, you guys might also have kind of something special about your design, like you might have a walkout basement where you actually do want part of your slab in the hill and the other part out. This strategy allows you to manipulate the land vertically however you need to. But we definitely don't want a gap in our between our slab and the land, so this is how you make that adjustment, okay? So you're gonna do that all the way around. And okay, I'm going to show you one other tool here. Okay, so my slab, okay, and I mentioned mine is actually really huge. So make sure again, you mess with the dimensions before. You have 2,500 square feet to work with between your two floors. Remember, the garage does not count against you for that. Here's how you're like, okay, I have no idea what my square footage is. Obviously I could put some dimensions on here and calculate, but this tool is really great. This ruler up at the top, the measurement tool, I'm just going to click around my slab. So right there where I'm hovering, you can see it's distance 112 feet, okay? If I just keep going, the gray is the area. So you guys can see as I keep growing, the area is at the bottom. That is my square footage. So right now, like I mentioned, mine is huge. Mine's at 10,743 in just that gray space. So as I keep going all the way around my L here, so now I have my whole L. My house is 17,141 square feet. So as I mentioned, the lot is really, really big. So your house will look small on the lot, but it's actually a very large house in real life. So keep that in mind, but this is a useful tool to check your square footage. You cannot go over 2,500 square feet between your stories. So, and you can have one story, you could have two, you could have three, whatever you want. It just has to total under 2,500 square feet. Okay, so remember, after you add anything new, make sure you do File, Save. If you've already saved it like I have, it'll just update. The other thing we're going to do, you guys, after you have your house design, just like we did before, is we are going to submit a workbook. So the sheets over here are already ready to go for you. You are just going to update your images that go on here, screenshot them, and put them on here. Okay, I think that's all for this video to get started. So make sure you download the file, that template, and make sure you open a new ArchiCAD file with that template before you get started. All right, that's everything. Thanks for watching.